I hum. I introduce myself as Yang Haoran. I am the 99th heir of Shaoxian Temple on Huanglong Mountain. Before dying, my master sends me downhill to promote Taoist arts. I nod. Then I accidentally save a few beauties. Occupational hazard. A girl worries that I must be thirsty. She hurries me to drink some water. Another girl chirps my name like a battle horn. She insists I drink hers, not any other woman's water. She calls the others a bunch of seductive troublemakers. Ouch. She warns them not to tempt Brother Haoran. My water has politics now. I laugh and offer to drink everyone's water. Peace treaty by hydration. Good thing I run fast. Otherwise, even my underwear would have become public property. A thug tells the girl to be smart. He tries dragging her away in broad daylight. Under this bright sky, no less. Subtle? Never met him. I cannot believe he tries snatching a girl right in front of me. The thug barks, asking who I am. He asks if I have a death wish. How polite. He demands I know who he is. He brags that his boss belongs to the Azure Dragon Gang. I tell him I do not care who he is. I call old Lou. I tell him a few Azure Dragon Gang guys want to beat me at the night market. I add that, yes, the circus is happening right now. The thug sputters, calling me bro. He complains I interrupted his threat. He asks me to respect his profession. Apparently thugging has etiquette. I apologize. Barely. I invite him to continue his little performance. He launches back into his speech. He says their boss is known as Crossing River Dragon. Before his grand boss story lands, I make another call. I call Officer Li Qian. I report 3 men claiming to be from the Azure Dragon Gang. I add that they are trying to snatch a woman. Charming resume. The thug is stunned I called police, and brags Brother Long has ruled Zhonghai for years. He says nobody has ever dared. Then I keep daring. I call Lin Tianfeng next. I tell him to get to the night market before the bragging evolves. The thug blurts out a panicked curse. He threatens to keep me from leaving this street alive. I make sure everyone hears that. I repeat that he says I will not leave this street. Neat confession. Laughter bursts out, loud and very underinformed. He mocks me as a broke nobody eating skewers and shorts. He sneers that I cannot summon anyone important. Someone notices the plate looks like Lord Lu's. Lord Lu rushes over, asking if Master Yang is all right. He wants to know who dares bully me. He offers to deal with the fool immediately. Efficient service. The thug stammers, wondering why his big boss is here. Someone gasps when battlefield wolf Lin Tianfeng arrives. Officer Li says someone reported him for harassing women. She tells him to take a little trip with the police. He stammers at Captain Li. He insists it is all a misunderstanding. Classic loser seasoning. He begs his boss for help. He admits he was blind and offended the wrong mountain. He begs me to treat him like a fart and let him vanish. He begs to be released. See, punishing evil and promoting good can be this simple. One phone call, problem solved. Modern Taoism has reception. Someone on the phone asks if I am Mr. Yang Haoran. They say Shaoxian Temple has fallen into disrepair. I hear it collapsed, and my brain trips over the word. My temple is gone. Wonderful. The mountain just unsubscribed. I warn someone he will fall seriously ill in 3 days. I tell him to come find me then. Appointment booked by fate. 3 days pass. He laughs, saying he is perfectly fine. He calls that Taoist a fraud. Rude, but timed beautifully. A servant cries that the young master has fainted. Someone shouts for the master of the house. The fake Taoist chants like a spell is doing push-ups. Someone begs the priest to save him. They urge him to examine Wen Hui quickly. They say it is the same condition as last time. They remind him he promised no relapse within a year. The priest hums, buying time with 1 syllable. He asks about the recent period. He wonders if Wen Hui met strange people or weird events. They say Wen Hui never leaves home. They insist he could not have met anything strange. The priest mutters that it is odd. He says the timing is not right. He cannot explain the sudden attack. Confidence, now loading. He admits this case does not look good. The priest says even he cannot reverse fate. He tells them to grieve, while someone asks if grabbing that woman still helps. The priest says the plan was to sacrifice that woman to extend the son's life. But now the young man already has 1 foot in the ghost gate. The priest admits he is helpless. He takes his leave with a guilty little hum. Someone suddenly remembers that little Taoist. That would be me, surprise package. They realize only I can save him now. I am relieved the old temple keeper is safe. I learn it was not age or decay. Someone deliberately blew up my jars. My patience develops cracks. Whoever did this. I mark the debt, and I do keep receipts. The father begs Master Yang to save his son. He says his son is almost gone. I tell him not to panic. I am on my way. I ask if their family raises corpses or pickles vegetables. The smell hits like it has a personal grudge. I order everyone out. I pause. Even my nose needs a moment. I say I cannot save this. I tell them to find someone better. Maybe a vegetable doctor. They panic, saying I claimed I could save him before. I clarify that I said I could save a person, but that eggplant on the bed? Different department. They beg me to wake up and be serious. They remind me this is no time for jokes. Fair point, sadly. I order paper and brush, and they scramble to obey. I write down the prescription. I tell them to fetch the herbs exactly as written. I order a bowl of mung bean and licorice soup. I tell them to make it strong and quick. They nod like bobbleheads. When Hui thrashes, and everyone screams for him to stop. I tell them he is safe now and needs rest. I tell them to clean the room before the smell applies for residency. Someone thanks me. Another thanks me too. My fan club smells like medicine. The father thanks me for saving his son despite their past offense. He is deeply ashamed of how he treated me before. He calls himself less than human. Dramatic, but progress. I tell him to get up. Correcting mistakes matters. There is no greater good than turning back. Very wise, very me. I remind him to be a good man from now on. He assures Master Yang I can rest easy. He promises to become a good man. He also vows to discipline that troublesome son. He swears not to let him run wild again. He addresses me again, still nervous. He asks if his son will not relapse. I say the illness naturally will not return, but his lonely ghost fate is much harder to fix. He begs me for a way to break it. He calls it a great kindness. He promises to remember it forever, teeth included. I tell him to send his son. He must repair Shaoxian Temple on Huanglong Mountain. Then he has to stay there for 3 full years. That will naturally clear the disaster. Perfect. I just found free labor to guard Shaoxian Temple. Am I a genius? The evidence is getting embarrassing. He assures Master Yang again. He promises to rebuild the temple. He will hire the best craftsmen. I refuse. Craftsmen can design, but not replace effort. The work has to be done sincerely by his son. I warn that other areas can be changed. But the memorial tablets in the main hall must not be touched. I ask if he understands, and he promises to instruct everyone. He swears they will not move a single bit. He offers Master Yang a small token of gratitude. He insists I accept it. I reluctantly accept. Heroism is heavy. Envelopes help. I remind him not to forget my instructions. He agrees again and again. I curse under my breath. I wonder where on earth they have dumped me. At last, my babysitting era ends. Bells should ring. I notice Captain Lee's mood is off. She looks weighed down lately, like paperwork grew teeth. She sighs that her family is rushing her to marry. She cannot find a decent excuse to dodge it. I think it is some huge crisis. Turns out, family politics. I say this is easy. She could just bring a boyfriend home. That should crush everyone's matchmaking dreams. She says that sounds easy. She asks where she is supposed to find a boyfriend. A colleague jokingly offers himself to Captain Lee. He claims it is for Captain Lee's happiness. He says his little sacrifice is nothing. Very noble. Very suspicious. She snaps that he is dreaming if he thinks he can flirt with her. Then she realizes the fake boyfriend idea might actually work. She decides hiring someone online is too risky. She thinks maybe she should ask that guy. Naturally, Disaster points at me. Captain Lee asks me to pretend to be her boyfriend. She wants me to accompany her to her grandfather's birthday banquet. I call her a silly girl. I wonder what her brain is made of. Cotton candy, perhaps. She really knows how to invent wild plans. I offer a suggestion. I say we do not need to pretend. We might as well turn the fake act real. I ask what she thinks. Smooth? Debatable. She says making it real is not impossible. She asks if I have been plotting to win her over. I ask how she figured out my grand scheme. She points out that I am poor, straight to the ribs. She says I should choose someone like her, who wants no bride price. She adds that she is financially independent. She even offers to support me someday. My pride coughs politely. I cut her off before my dignity signs surrender papers. I agree to be her fake boyfriend. There, crisis outsourced to me. She accepts, as if borrowing me is perfectly normal. She seals the deal before I can regain common sense. I blink at the words fake boyfriend. I wonder what kind of plot I just tripped into. Then I remember I still have another date. Popularity is exhausting. Someone calls for Yang Haoren from nearby. I ask the beauty if she knows me. She tells me to stop pretending I do not recognize her. She makes me look carefully. The pressure is very artistic. I praise her stunning beauty. I say she is so bright she blinds the whole channel. I cover my eyes and claim I cannot see. She asks if I am sick. Fair medical question. She says she is hungry. She hurries us off to eat. She suddenly remembers I am a Taoist priest. The place is a grilled fish restaurant. She wonders if I should be vegetarian. I ask who told her Taoists all eat vegetables. I remind her we are not monks. Once Shaoxian Temple sells a jar, I can eat whatever I want. Sacred Freedom, Grilled Edition. She relaxes with a relieved sigh. She thought I would break some rule. I ask what she is writing down. She says she applied for the acting department. She has a heroine assignment. In the script, the heroine once trains under a Taoist. She wants to collect material. I ask if she wants to become my disciple. She spits the idea away, refusing to become a nun. She only wants to ask about temple life. It is just acting material, she says. Research with fish. I agree to tell her everything I know. Laughter and little noises tumble through the table. Someone sneers that a flower has landed in cow dung. They cannot believe such a pretty woman would date a country bumpkin like me. Charming dinner music. A thug asks what a beauty has to discuss with a bumpkin. He suggests she chat with his crew instead. He gives a smug little sound. Very punchable soundtrack. I decide I have seen too many like them. I tell her they are not worth lowering ourselves over. I listen to her and focus on the fish. The creeps laugh, pleased with their tiny brains. One of them calls to the beauty again. He asks if she wants to have fun after dinner. He says he will pay. He promises she will be too happy to leave. My chopsticks lose patience. She tells them to show some respect. She warns she will call the police if they do not move. The thug asks who she thinks she is scaring. He tells her to obediently go with him. He promises to make her comfortable. Disgusting sales pitch. If she refuses, he says they will not be gentle with her. He chuckles like a broken villain toy. I ask if his mother never taught him manners. So I decide to teach him myself. He screams that it hurts. He howls like pain has found his family tree. His friend yells that I dared hit first. They roar about killing me, very loudly and poorly. More groans burst out as bodies meet lessons. I call for the boss and ask for the bill. The thug orders the boss to stop me. He threatens to make the boss suffer if we leave. The boss nervously asks us not to go yet. He wants everyone to coordinate. Translation, panic politely. The boss yelps and tells me not to come closer. He asks what I want, then immediately regrets asking. I remind them they are the ones refusing to let me leave. So I invite them to speak now. They say I must discuss the matter with their big brother. One thug says he will call him over. He adds that the girl cannot leave either. She panics and urges us to go. She says there is no reasoning with people like this. She refuses to believe they dare act lawless. The boss warns the young lady she cannot leave. He says these men belong to Daming. I ask if he means Li Shueming. Then I ask why nobody calls the police. I wonder what they are waiting for. The boss says it is useless. He says this kind of situation always gets brushed aside. Then those men will retaliate. I tell them not to rush. We are only waiting for their boss. I wait for him to come apologize to me. Someone repeats apology like I ordered dragon meat. They think my brain has short-circuited. A ghast slips out. She says there is no justice. She thinks scum like Li Xueming should be locked away and never released. Hard to argue with the review. I ask if she knows their boss. She says everyone nearby has been bullied by him. She asks why nobody handles people like that. I tell her it is not that nobody handles them. The time just has not arrived. Today they meet me, so someone finally handles it. She doubts whether I can really do it. She says that guy is good at fighting, and he has a pack of lackeys. I specialize in curing petty villains. No prescription needed. A thug cries that his big brother has finally arrived. He points at me as the one who beat them. Li Xueming curses. He scolds the three for causing trouble again. He guesses it must be because of the beautiful girl. Li Xueming introduces himself to the girl. He wants to get acquainted. Creepy business card included. I ask if he is pretending I do not exist. He snorts, then laughs like confidence has no brakes. His men rage that I hit their boss. They promise to kill me today. Li Xueming says he has not even moved yet. He cannot believe I dared strike first. He says I must not want to live. He orders them to beat me to death. Someone groans that today is truly unlucky. She warns me to be careful. I give a small snort. The thug stammers and calls me a hero. He admits he is wrong and begs for mercy. He claims everything earlier was only a joke. I repeat that it was a joke. Then I repeat it again, because comedy needs evidence. Lucky him, I also enjoy jokes. I suggest we play a little. He groans as the lesson continues. Someone regrets not checking the almanac today. They wonder how they ran into someone this ruthless. The crowd cheers that the beating is good. They say Li Xueming has bullied people for years. It is their first time seeing him beaten like this. They call me practically divine. Finally, accurate reviews. I ask if he is the big brother around here. I ask how he wants to settle today's mess. He says before me he is only a grandson, and I am the grandfather. Fast family upgrade. He says he will do whatever Grandpa wants. I say good, then tell him to call the police. Let the police station handle it properly. He stutters at the word police. He thinks if the police arrive, they will at most lecture him, maybe lock him up for a few days. But if he stays in my hands, he may really get beaten to death. Smart math, finally. He calls the police station. He says he wants to turn himself in, then corrects himself and says he wants to report a case. He says the someone is himself. He reports a group fight. He begs them to send people quickly. His men think their boss has gone mad. After all, he just called police on himself. He admits he brought people here to cause trouble. He promises to pay for every loss, with a sour little snort. I tell the officers this man has ruled this area for far too long. He specializes in bullying students and shopkeepers. I ask how they plan to handle him this time. The officer asks me to trust them. He says cases depend on facts and evidence. Once all his crimes are verified, they will punish him according to law, and they will not tolerate him. He repeats that there will be no tolerance. I ask about just today's incident. I want to know how long that alone can lock him up. I also ask about his old crimes. Will they investigate those together? Details matter. The officer addresses me formally. He says investigations need a process. He asks me to believe them. They will properly solve the problem and give victims and society a fair answer. I repeat proper solution. I ask what that actually means. I wonder if they see this as a small case. A few lectures, then release him like stale steam. I call Chen Jitian and say I am at the grilled fish shop. I tell him to come over right now. The officer says I misunderstand. He insists they truly act according to law. I tell him not to give me speeches. Someone will be here soon to hear them properly. Mr. Yang is asked what happened. The officer explains that this is the situation. They plan to take the suspect back to the station for further investigation. Chen Jitian tells me he checked on the road. He has already spoken with comrades at the sub-bureau. This gang situation is already on record there. A special team has been set up to follow it. He tells me not to worry. They will definitely give a proper solution. I realize that is how it is. Well, my suspicion takes a bow. I admit I misunderstood them. I thought they simply did not want to handle it. I thought they were dodging me with official fog. The officer says they fully understand my mood. He explains that police talk must follow procedure. Sometimes it may not sound satisfying. But he asks me to believe them. Their resolve to fight crime is real, and so are their actions. Paperwork finally grows teeth. The misunderstanding clears, neat as a swept floor. Someone notices his cap is crooked. Authority needs symmetry. The officer thanks Mr. Yang for supervising their work. He asks me to rest assured. They will return peace to society. They crashed into an iron plate today, so their bad luck earns a standing ovation. At last, the whole mess is settled. Only 2 days remain before grandfather's birthday banquet, and the gift is still missing. Great timing, as usual. Xiao Qian gets an idea. She considers dragging that guy Yang Haoran in as a consultant. She calls me and complains it is already 10:30. She cannot believe I am still sleeping. I groan like my soul is rebooting. I ask if it is not too early for the plan. I ask why she is looking for me now. She has interrupted a perfectly good dream. A crime, frankly. She wants to buy grandfather a birthday gift. She asks if I have any good ideas. I remind her that he is her grandfather. I ask how I would know what to buy. I remind her I am only the fake boyfriend. She says she knows I am fake. She is just genuinely stressed. She has no idea what gift works. She asks if I can at least suggest something. I say she must tell me what the old man does and what he likes. Gifts need clues, not divination. She gives in with a double fine. Her grandfather is a university archaeology professor. He is very interested in antiques. But she does not plan to buy those things. She wants something different. I offer my expert opinion. Something for long life and health is best. For an elder, wellness usually beats fancy dust. Actually, she does not need to shop elsewhere. She can come to me. Convenient, handsome, available. She asks what I even have. I remind her I am a doctor. Any medicine I make would make the world fight for it. For the sake of our friendship, she only needs to buy the materials. I will give her a free batch of pills. She asks if pills are truly reliable. She worries something may go wrong. Many emperors died from random pills, she reminds me. Cheerful. I call her a silly girl. I ask what kind of way that is to talk. She must not compare me with swindling mystics. We are not in the same dusty basket. My pills have real miraculous effects. She says she did not mean it that way. She admits she simply does not understand. Then she agrees to listen to me. She asks what materials to buy. I point out the first thing I need. Then I add another one. She asks why I need an induction cooker. I say it is for alchemy. High-tech, obviously. She accepts it, then remembers something. I tell her I cast a hexagram for her family. She asks what I found. Someone will have bad luck at grandfather's banquet. The image is too messy for me to see who. Anyway, it is not her. So it is probably me. Excellent. Fate has jokes. But I tell her not to worry. With me there, the unlucky one will not be me. Grandfather tells Xiao Kai he and Xiao Kai's grandfather are old friends. He knows Xiao Kai's feelings for Xiao Qian. He tells Xiao Kai not to worry. When Xiao Qian arrives, he will help match them. Xiao Kai thanks grandfather. He says he spent special effort finding a treasure. He promises the banquet gift will satisfy grandfather. Grandfather wonders if it is an antique. Xiao Kai tells grandfather not to rush. It is a surprise. Grandfather will know when the time comes. Grandfather laughs and says he will wait for the surprise. After more than 20 hours of refining, I laugh in victory. The pills are finally done. My stove deserves applause. She asks what I am holding. I lift it up like a proud chef. It is the freshly baked Meow Meow rejuvenation pill. She asks why I cannot use a better box. I ask where I am supposed to find a fancy box. People should not be too shallow. The packaging may look unimpressive, but the pills inside are true treasures. Worth more than gold, and less smug about it. She decides to buy a proper box anyway. Someone asks who chose the menu. They complain it is far too shabby. Someone says everything is already booked. It cannot be changed now. A sister says their big brother is too stingy. So they changed it for him. Honkai's head chef is coming soon. They call the meal their filial gift to father. Someone snorts. Family harmony, lightly fried. A nephew says uncle should have replaced this house long ago. At least 5,000 square meters, he says. Pool and lawn should be standard. Only that would look proper. Someone asks who taught him this comparison game. He asks what is wrong with comparing. A little comparison drives progress, he claims. He says cousin Li Qian never compares. And now she is still only a junior officer. He thinks uncle should urge her to change careers. Otherwise she will work like a laborer forever. They laugh loudly, as if bad manners are dessert. Someone says Tang Kai is pursuing Li Qian. Grandfather seems quite pleased about it. But their family, of course, looks down on him as a stubborn rich kid. They say a listed company not rejecting him is already generous. Only a broken brain would refuse him. Someone asks where a Rolls-Royce came from. The room jolts with surprise. They realize Xiao Tang has arrived. Tang Kai wishes grandfather a happy birthday. He also wishes him good health. He says his own grandfather asked him to bring a gift. He asks if it suits grandfather's taste. Grandfather is touched that his old friend remembers him. He gasps. It is Master Zhu Guxing's ancient manuscript from 1,000 years ago. Grandfather praises it again and again. He says it is practically priceless. He thinks the gift is far too valuable. Even Professor Li is this excited. So everyone knows it must be a treasure. This is not something money can simply buy. Tang Kai chuckles, pleased as a polished peacock. Tang Kai asks grandfather about Xiao Qian. He asks if she has not returned yet. Grandfather says there is no rush. She is on the way. He believes she will arrive soon. Someone praises Tang Kai as truly talented and handsome. They say Xiao Qian would be lucky to be with him. They suggest setting an engagement date today. Tang Kai says Andy does not know everything. Lately Xiao Qian keeps avoiding him. He says he feels helpless. Poor golden peacock. Someone says that is no big deal. They ask where else she could find such a rich catch. They insist they are all doing this for her good. They ask father what he thinks. Grandfather decides to follow Xiaolan's suggestion. Someone gasps as the scene suddenly changes flavor. Tang Kai curses and asks why I am here. Grandfather asks Xiao Qian who the young man beside her is. Xiao Qian asks everyone to let her introduce me. She says I am her boyfriend. They repeat young Howren and boyfriend like thunder hit the teacups. Someone says they have never heard of me before. They say this slaps Tang Kai in the face. They think it is brutally bold. They demand Xiao Qian tell the truth. They ask if she hired me with money. They ask what part of me matches her. They judge my clothes as standard loser gear. They decide at a glance I am not decent. Their eyes need repair. I ask if their two eyes exist only to breathe. I demand what they mean by saying I look indecent. Do I really look that creepy? I feel attacked. Someone tells Xiao Qian marriage is a major life matter. It is not a child's pretend game. They warn her not to ignore family opinions out of rebellion. Otherwise, she may regret it forever. Xiao Qian says she chose her boyfriend herself. She will bear the consequences herself. She appreciates their good intentions, but she knows what she is doing. Tang Kai tells grandfather not to continue. He says he must not be good enough. Since this family does not welcome him, he says he will leave right now. Grandfather stops the good child from leaving. Grandfather says he will always welcome him. He says Xiao Qian is only confused for the moment. He promises to scold her later. Tang Kai thanks grandfather. He says he will listen to grandfather. Such obedient theater. I laugh inside. The performance is truly disgusting. Xiao Qian's family tells her not to take it to heart. Her parents say they will always support her. They tell her to ignore the noise. Finally, same people. They call me over for a proper look. They say I am quite likable. My reputation breathes again. So this is what mother-in-law affection feels like. Turns out that old saying is not wrong at all. Xiao Qian thanks her parents. Someone reminds everyone this visit is for grandfather's birthday banquet. Unlike certain people, they say, who bring no proper gesture, and even make grandfather angry. The arrows find me fast. Tang Kai tells grandfather not to take it to heart. He asks grandfather to see his prepared gift. He hopes it suits grandfather's taste. Grandfather laughs with sudden interest. He studies its shape. Then he studies the material. He suspects it is the long-lost Taoist Xiaoyao pot. Tang Kai flatters grandfather's sharp eye. Grandfather recites that the pot holds endless days and lets freedom wander everywhere. One drop of ordinary water can become miraculous medicine. Fancy kettle, big claims. Grandfather praises the Xiaoyao pot. Someone asks father what that means. They realize the pot seems to be a treasure. Grandfather says it is absolutely a treasure, one almost impossible to find. But he thinks the gift is too valuable. He says he cannot accept it, then sighs. Tang Kai urges grandfather not to refuse. Then someone turns toward Xiao Qian's boyfriend. They suggest I must have prepared something even better. They ask me to show it. The trap has ribbon on it. Others wonder if I brought no gift at all. I ask why everyone is so impatient. My gift is far too precious. It is meant to be the grand finale. If I bring it out now, I might embarrass them all. I am thoughtful like that. So I tell them to present their gifts first. Then they can admire mine at the end. Someone says my bragging disease has returned. They wait to see how I clean up my mess. They never expected this. They say I have no real skill. But my mouth is huge, true, and useful. Grandfather agrees to do it my way. He tells Xiao Li to bring out her gift. Wu Hongyu introduces himself as Xiao Li's boyfriend. It is his first time meeting grandfather. He offers a small token. He asks grandfather to accept it with a smile. Xiao Li says the 1,000-year fleece flower root was hard to buy. Without Hongyu's ability, money alone could not get it. She asks grandfather to judge its quality. Grandfather says the quality is excellent. It is definitely old enough for 1,000 years. After decades in the field, this is only his second root of such quality. He accepts it. He thanks them for the gift. Someone says this proves the importance of choosing a boyfriend. If someone casually chooses any stray nobody, life will be full of suffering. I wave from the stray section. I warn her not to talk nonsense. Otherwise I may slap her face with facts. Laughter rolls around the room. Grandfather asks if Yibin's prayer beads come from southwest Kunlun Mountain. Yibin praises grandfather as a top national appraiser. He spotted the origin at once. Yes, those prayer beads were indeed bought near southwest Kunlun Mountain. Grandfather says Kunlun white jade is rare and precious. Most importantly, it calms the mind. He calls it a fine thing. They tell me to bring out my so-called finale gift. They want to broaden their horizons, laughing all the way. They say one glance shows it is street stall trash. They tell Xiao Qian to stop acting. They say she rejects a good man like Tang Kai. They ask what more she wants. Tang Kai says they need not make things hard for Xiao Qian. Maybe I really brought a rare treasure, he says. He hums with fake generosity. Very glossy, very slippery. I present 13 Meow Meow rejuvenation pills. For ordinary people, they prevent all illness. For patients, they clear every disease. For the critically ill, they can even pull life back from death. These 13 pills mean 13 lives. They laugh at the idea of raising the dead. They ask if I think I am an immortal. They stare at the dark little pills. They mock the claim of 13 lives. They call them 13 poison pills instead. Someone accuses Li Qian of having evil intentions. They say nobody gives medicine at an elder's birthday banquet. They accuse her of cursing grandfather to get sick. If this is what I call precious, then they say they must be ignorant. Finally, we agree. They mock the name Meow Meow rejuvenation pill. They call it absurd and ridiculous. They say it might even be poison. They decide the gift clearly hides bad intentions. Xiao Qian panics, thinking I have ruined her. She wishes she had bought an ordinary gift instead. A snort cuts through the room. Grandfather asks if I owe him an explanation. He says we have no grudge. He asks what I mean by this. I sigh. No wonder people say first comes bull. Only then comes the 1,000-mile horse. If they want to know whether the pills are real, they can simply find someone to test one. Grandfather curses, saying he has never heard of testing medicine like that. He asks if I am cursing him. He asks Xiao Qian if this is really her boyfriend. Someone urges father not to get angry. They tell Xiao Qian to apologize quickly. They ask if she wants to anger grandfather to death. Others pile on in agreement. They want to throw this unknown punk out. That would be me. I tell them not to decide so quickly. I hear the old madam has a serious illness. Why not try my Meow Meow rejuvenation pill? Then truth and lies will show themselves. But I warn them first. There are 13 pills total. If they admit their mistake now, I will give all of them to grandfather. But after the matter is proven, I will give at most 3. Discounts expire. Grandfather calls me a bastard. He orders me to get out. Out of their house, specifically. Very clear hospitality. He says if this man is truly Xiao Qian's boyfriend, then she does not need to come back either. He tells all of us to get out. Tang Kai urges grandfather not to get angry. He says Xiao Qian did not mean it. He suggests giving us one chance to prove it. After all, grandmother's illness has not improved. It cannot get much worse, he says. Comfort, Tang Kai style. After 3 years in a vegetative state, a cure would have happened already. Xiao Qian blames me for this mess. She wonders why I had to brag. I tell Tang Kai he finally said one human sentence today. I assure him the old madam will thank him. Someone tells grandfather Tang Kai has a point. It is only a test, after all. It will make us give up, they think. Grandfather tells Xiao Qian to see how others treat her. Then he asks what attitude she has in return. He decides to give us one chance. He wants to see what else we can say. He orders everyone to follow him. I give a small hum and follow the drama parade. Grandfather tells us to come in. He wants to see what trick I plan to play. Xiao Qian quietly asks what I am trying to do. Her grandmother has been a vegetable for 3 years. She believes it cannot be cured. I ask what she means, silly girl. Does she not trust me? That truly hurts my tiny heroic heart. She says this is not about trust. Different situations need different judgment. If her grandmother's condition could be cured, only an immortal could do it. I tell her that is exactly right. I may not be an immortal, but this pill is truly immortal medicine. I tell her to watch carefully. The pulse is barely there. A classic living dead case. Terrible name, accurate diagnosis. Xiao Qian asks if it will not work. I ask who said it will not work. It is only a little troublesome. I need to combine it with acupuncture. But it will take some time. The others should step outside. I tell her to explain it to them. Xiao Qian tells grandfather I will treat grandmother. She says everyone needs to avoid the room. She asks them to go out first. Grandfather agrees to indulge me with a sharp snort. Someone tells Xiao Qian to stop making trouble. They tell her to apologize to grandfather later. I ask why she should apologize. The old madam waking up is no problem. I am waiting for them to apologize to me. Someone asks what nonsense I am talking. Xiao Qian's father tells everyone not to rush. He says Yang Haoran's medical skill is truly good. He has seen it with his own eyes. Someone says Xiao Qian is far too rebellious. They insist she must be properly disciplined. Family warmth with thorns. Otherwise, they say, Xiao Qian will shame the family. They tell her to stop going to that lousy police station. A girl fighting all day, they say, is no proper behavior. The lecture pot boils again. Someone offers their brilliant opinion. They want to settle her marriage with Tang Kai directly. Once she has a family, they think she will know they mean well. They say it is not entirely Xiao Qian's fault. She must have been pushed by someone. Naturally, they blame the broke loser. Hello again, me. They call me arrogant and full of nonsense. They decide they cannot let me off. Someone suggests calling the police. They want to check my background. Others agree that I must be investigated carefully. Grandfather settles on a plan. He decides to call Xiao He and asks him to come over when he can. Grandfather asks Xiao He how it went. He wants the files on this Yang Haoran fellow. Xiao He tells Oldly not to joke. This Yang Haoran, he says, has helped the police solve several major cases. If I were not so low-key, my banners would cover an entire wall. Modesty has interior design limits. He asks if they know what cases I cracked, and what kind of people were involved. 5 Dark Realm martial artists, for example, all beaten by me alone. Group discounts available. They realize I am actually a martial artist. Xiao He says that is only one of my identities. He brings up another person. He says they should have heard of Wen Xingzhu. Of course they have heard of him. He is a towering authority in traditional medicine. Oldly asks why Xiao He mentions Wen Xingzhu. He wonders if I am Old Master Wen's junior. Xiao He says Oldly has it backward. According to reliable information, Wen Xingzhu calls me teacher when he sees me. Old Master Wen once said publicly that I am a divine doctor of this age. The room chokes on surprise. They insist this is impossible. A divine doctor like when Xingzhu calls me teacher? Yes, awkward for them. Xiaohe says there is even bigger news. He asks if Old Li still wants to hear it. It is not fully confirmed yet, but it is almost certainly true. I have often visited Xiaofeng Mountains, Southwest Military District. And I am close to Elder Lin, the old Southwest war god. Even General Lin Tianfeng is respectful before me. He would not dare act rashly. Sensible man. Old Li asks about that Lin Tianfeng, the one nicknamed Battlefield Wolf, he means. Xiaohe confirms he is a key figure in the Southwest Military District. Everyone gasps again. The air is getting exercise. Xiaohe ends the explanation. He says the defense office still has business. He takes his leave with a sighing rush. Someone cries that grandmother is awake. They stammer that she really woke up. Yes, really awake. Miracles do enjoy timing. The room erupts in startled cries. A sharp gasp cuts through the chaos. Someone cries that mother has finally awakened. They call Xiao Su, saying his wife is awake. Someone admits it actually worked. I ask why everyone is standing there stunned. Does nobody care about the old madam? I ask how things look now. Do they finally believe me? I ask Old Li what my Meow Meow rejuvenation pill is worth. He calls it true immortal medicine, and an immortal method. Accurate, with applause implied. He says it is truly priceless, the most precious gift of all. He takes back what he said before, and apologizes to me and Xiao Qian. At his age, he admits he was still so shallow. He feels ashamed. Xiao Qian's father quickly says he must not. He says we are only children. How could we dare accept an elder's apology? I tell grandfather there is no need. Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. Besides, we are family now. Surprise paperwork pending. I always keep my word. I give the old madam 2 pills. If they had trusted me earlier, they could have had all 13. I remind Old Li he is not young anymore. He really must keep his eyes sharp. Some people look righteous and proper, but inside they are full of dirty water. Hidden malice, nicely wrapped. My favorite kind to unwrap. White jade prayer beads can indeed calm the spirit, but real white jade is hard to find. There is a fake, called Baiji jade. It looks the same on the surface, but its effect is worlds apart. Baiji jade slowly drains a person's vital energy. It leaves the spirit weakened. The two look similar, but careful inspection reveals the truth. I turn to Old Li. I ask him to inspect what material it really is. Yibin says that is impossible. He insists they bought the genuine article. He tells me not to slander them. I say whether it is slander can be known by looking carefully, unless he thinks Old Li would fake it. Old Li tells Yibin the beads are indeed Baiji jade, a harmful thing, in other words. Yibin cannot believe they are fake. A gasp escapes the room. I sigh that this is also a harmful thing. They accuse me of spouting nonsense. They say I am relying on a little ability to splash dirty water on them. I tell Old Li to cut it open if he doubts me. Normal fleece flower root should be milky yellow. This one should be black-purple inside. Something like that. Even one bite is enough to kill. They repeat that one bite is fatal. If Old Li had eaten it earlier, they dare not even imagine it. They keep saying it is impossible. Someone wonders if the pot has problems too. Tang Kai asks why I am laughing. He insists his Xiaoyao pot is definitely fine. I say whether it has problems can only be known after checking. Besides, he probably does not know what I do. He asks what else I could be. I am the heir of Shaoxian Temple, a proper Taoist disciple. The Xiaoyao pot is a Taoist object. Could he know it better than me? They realize I am a Taoist too. Surprise, robes optional. I recite that Xiaoyao speaks of freedom, but this freedom is only fence grass. Without cultivating one's life root and seeking the Tao, everything turns empty and drifts with the wind. I ask if they know what the Xiaoyao pot is actually used for. This pot is used for cultivation. It contains extreme yin poison. Cultivators dilute it with water or wine, then refine it with true energy to strengthen themselves. But if an ordinary person drinks from it, there is only one result. Legs out, eyes wide, game over. Tang Kai refuses to believe me. He says words alone prove nothing. Since he believes so firmly, I suggest he test it himself. He stammers, caught between disbelief and cowardice. He says he will ask the seller for answers. He takes his leave while laughter chases him out. Someone asks if the xiaoyao pod is really that poisonous. I admit I scared him. Who knew his courage was made of tofu? Suddenly, everyone praises Xiao Qian's good eye. They say she has always had her own judgment. Unlike them, apparently. Now this is what people call a cold world changing faces. I ask Old Li, a man of wide experience, whether he has ever seen this object before. Old Li remembers it. He once saw the same thing in an ancient village on the southwest border. An identical item, he says. It was in the old clan chief's hands. I ask if he remembers the exact address. He says the important matter is right here. He is sure there is no mistake. I thank Old Li. I hurry out before the family weather changes again. Xiao Qian thanks me this time. She says she has never felt so comfortable. And I even woke her grandmother. I tell her not to be polite. It was just a lift of the hand. A very gifted hand. Besides, I did not leave empty-handed. After wearing out iron shoes and finding nothing. Now I finally have a clue. I only need to wait for Galin to enter cultivation. Someone says I finally arrived. She was afraid I would refuse. I point out there is money and beautiful women. Maybe I can even land a role. So why would I refuse? I am heroic, not blind. She chuckles and says she will handle it. She cannot guarantee I will become famous, but getting me a role should be no problem. She offers 8,000 a month. 8,000. I grin. My wallet salutes. I accept, and she notices my luggage. She thinks it is too little. I ask what else I need. Big bags are a woman's business, I say bravely. One outfit and toiletries are enough for me. She calls me a show-off and says this shoot is all on location. Buying things will not be convenient. She warns me not to blame her later. I remind her I lived on Huanglong Mountain for 20 years. This hardly counts as trouble. She realizes it really does not. Someone asks if she is Miss Shiqing Luo. He says he is an actor in the King Fengzi crew. He is also assistant director Shirlei. Shiqing Luo introduces herself. Shirlei invites Miss Shi into the car. He notes this is her first role. He says she can ask him anything. He claims he is always free, especially at night. Subtle as a dropped brick. He offers to analyze scenes with her. Shiqing Luo politely refuses director Shi. She says sitting in back makes her carsick. Shirlei says he will arrange her affairs from now on. He hopes she will cooperate. He wants work to stay harmonious. A very greasy word. She says she will focus on work. As for cooperation, that depends on the situation. He tells her his room is 603. He says she can visit to discuss the script. Someone identifies her as Miss Shi. Then they ask if I am her assistant. They expected her to bring a female assistant, so they only booked one standard room. Shiqing Luo says it is fine as it is. I ask if she trusts me that much. Is she not afraid something might happen? She asks what there is to fear. She teases whether this little Taoist has other ideas. Mainly, she thinks Shirlei looks shady. This industry has too many hidden rules. With me nearby, she feels steadier. Besides, Miss Shi came prepared. She calls it prevention before trouble. Smart girl. Shirlei complains about a little newcomer. He says she dares not understand the situation. He is deeply disappointed. The couch must be lonely. Another woman says knowing him should be enough. She promises to keep him comfortable every day. She claims she is better than that ungrateful girl. Shirlei laughs and says that is different. Still, he tells her not to worry. He will arrange a good role for her. Shiqing Luo heads off for her audition. She tells me to wait for her. I accept the order and send her off. Someone snaps at her for standing there. They tell her to hurry and change clothes. She asks where she is supposed to change. They say right here, of course. They rush her not to waste everyone's time. Someone hums smugly, and trouble starts warming up. Shirlei asks if she has read the script. The junior sister secretly loves the male lead. He says he will act a shot with her. Shiqing Luo refuses him. He warns her to cooperate. Otherwise, he can replace her right now. She tells him not to come closer. She would rather quit the shoot. She says people like him disgust her. He says she refuses the polite drink, so he will force the punishment wine. Shiqing Luo calls for me to save her. Shirlei laughs that nobody can save her today. I snort. Famous last laugh. He panics and warns me not to act wildly. He asks what I want to do. Nervous laughter spills out. Very brave, very shaky. Shirqing Luo says this bastard tried to assault her. I say I do not want much. I just hate beasts dressed like gentlemen. When I see one, my hands itch, so I feel like stretching my muscles. He asks if a kid like me can do it. Then he yelps. Question answered. I ask what is so great about being assistant director. Nothing impressive at all. I beat him until he can call me grandpa. He begs and agrees to call me grandpa. He threatens Shirqing Luo's acting career. He demands she make me stop. I ask if he still wants to threaten me. Has he not read the room? At this point, acting or not barely matters. He cries out again. I tell Shirqing Luo, we can leave now. For half a year, he will not stand on his own. Someone calls for the director. Director Zhang is shocked such a thing happened. He orders them to bring Shirqing Luo over. Shirqing Luo asks Director Zhang to judge fairly. He notes she hit someone, yet asks him for justice. He finds that interesting. He asks why anyone was beaten. Shirqing Luo says Shirlei tried to molest her. He also forced her to shoot an intimate scene. If Director Zhang thinks she is wrong, she will leave immediately. Director Zhang curses Shirlei's behavior. He promises to investigate clearly. He tells her to keep doing her work and not let it affect her. She asks if he does not blame her. He says it was never her fault. Shirlei was forced in by the investors. Investor people, she realizes. She thinks she should just leave. Director Zhang says that is nothing. He is only a useless assistant director. They can replace him. He will explain it to the investors. She does not need to feel burdened. Shirqing Luo thanks the director. She promises to act well. Shirlei begs his second uncle for revenge. He wants us taught a lesson. His uncle calls him useless. If he ruins the crew, the uncle will suffer too. Still, he will not let this slide. A little hum says trouble has entered chat. Someone asks why Mr. Shir called them over. Mr. Shir says he needs a favor. Inside are 20 bundles. A small token, he calls it. Heavy little token. The man says Mr. Shir has confused him. If Mr. Shir does not explain, he dares not accept the gift. Mr. Shir tells him not to rush and to talk in the car. Laughter leaks out, oily and expensive. Someone says he was worried he could not find me, and here I deliver myself to the door. Service too good. Brother Peng calls me impressive. He heard I beat Shirlei right after arriving. I laugh and ask if I look like someone who hits people. He admits I really do not. So he offers a brother to practice with me. He calls Huizi and Lao Si. He tells them to loosen my muscles. They say I look like a bean sprout. One fears a slap might kill me. The other says there is no challenge. I suggest they hit him instead. Watching that would be more interesting. They laugh, still unaware of the menu. One asks what I mean by that. He asks if I am treating them like monkeys. I say monkey shows require tickets, and they are not worth the price. Brother Peng orders Lao Si to beat me. I shout like disaster has arrived. I announce number 5 is bullying people. He says he is bullying me exactly. All because I talk nonsense, apparently. Someone calls him a coward for yelling. They ask if he was not so capable. Screams burst out, and the training plan collapses. Brother Peng asks what the two are doing. He says they will embarrass themselves before me. He asks how they usually train. I marvel at their amazing talent. Such powerful martial arts. Truly historic. I ask if that foot has not been washed for a month. It must be dehydrated, so I kindly decide to help. Someone yelps as if he has seen a ghost. They realize I am a little strange. Brother Pring asks what I did to him. I say it is nothing much. Just ordinary acupoint sealing. I ask if they have any objections. No objections, I take it. Unfortunately, I have one. They cannot think this ends here. I tell them not to run, then send one flying. They panic in a chorus of no. Good wild honey gets ruined just like that. What a waste, followed by excellent screaming. That is what happens when they fight Grandpa Taoist. The crew prepares to shoot at 3 on the dot. Laughter bubbles around the set. Someone shouts to stop filming. They ask what is going on. They rush to pull the person back. Someone suspects this might be my doing. But saving the person matters first. They ask why everyone is frozen. They shout for a crane to rescue him. I step in and say I will handle it. I give a calm hum. Hero entrance, low volume. Someone asks where Guoguanping is. They wonder where he vanished at the worst possible moment. I tell Shiqing Luo not to be scared or move around. I pull her toward me. Someone reminds her to mind appearances. She says she does not care. She nearly died. Guo Guangping apologizes to the director. He claims he went to the restroom. His stomach felt bad. Convenient timing, very fragrant excuse. The director tells them to lower the person quickly. He ends work and orders the equipment checked. Someone agrees, then cries out. They tell the technician to lower it slowly. They beg him to keep it steady. Someone screams for the break. The director curses and asks how this happened. He asks if they can even do their jobs. I tell Shiqing Luo not to move. I say I will take her down. Screams fill the air like unpaid extras. The crew gasps that my move was amazing. They say it was all thanks to me. Otherwise, Shiqing Luo would be dead. A startled cry breaks out. The director asks how we are. He asks if anything is injured. Shiqing Luo says she is fine. I say if this has nothing to do with Guoguanping, I would not believe it even beaten flat. I tell her not to let anyone take the wire suit. I tell her to wait here for me. I give a small hum and move. Someone wonders if that was legendary lightness skill. They call it incredible. I hum again, because mystery likes good timing. I check Shiqing Luo's wire rig. Sure enough, there is a problem. This is attempted murder. The guilty thief starts acting guilty. Classic. I tell him to come back. Guo Guangping panics when he sees it is me. He wonders how I got there so fast. He claims he needs the restroom again. He says he does not understand me. I ask if he really does not understand, or is pretending. My temper is not exactly famous for patience. I press him to confess, and he begs me not to come closer. He says Shi Zhixing forced him to do it. He tells me to go find Shi Zhixing instead. I say that is much better. I like people who tell the truth. Now he can come turn himself in with me. Someone tells everyone to look. They recognize the stunt team boss being dragged back. They name him Guo Guangping very loudly. They realize it really is him. I tell Director Zhang this guy did it. Shiqing Luo asks what happened. I tell her to wait until Director Zhang questions him. Then she will understand everything. Guo Guangping tells Director Zhang it was all Shi Zhixing who made him do it. He claims he was only working for someone. He begs Director Zhang to spare him. Director Zhang curses the whole thing as outrageous. He vows to pursue it to the end. Shiqing Luo calls it intentional murder. She says she will sue him. The crew calls him scum of the stunt world. They cannot believe he dared commit murder. Director Zhang orders everyone to stop work immediately until the investors officially handle this. The cameras will not roll. I hum. The set finally grows a spine. President Yuan tells Shi Jixing to explain himself. He wants to know what really happened. He asks if Guo Guangping told the truth. Shi Jixing cries that he is wronged. He insists this has nothing to do with him. He says Guo Guangping is dodging responsibility and slandering him with bloody lies. Guo Guangping curses Shi Jixing. He asks if Shi Jixing is trying to deny it. He says this is the bank card Shi Jixing gave him. Shi Jixing told him to teach Shi Luo and her assistant a lesson. He says Shi Jixing said it himself. He asks if Shi Jixing still wants to deny it. A gas pops out of the room. Shi Jixing says it is only a bank card. Anyone can get one. He asks if saying it is his makes it his. He demands evidence. He stammers toward President Su. I tell him denial is fine. I have plenty of ways to make him speak. He asks what I plan to do. I tell him not to worry. I will not do much. I just want him to see something. I advise everyone not to interfere. I will explain it to them in a moment. He cries out. Someone asks what I am doing to him. Shi Jixing breaks and admits everything. He says it is all because of Shirley. Because of Shirley he did this. He begs me not to kill him. He begs not to die. Truth arrives wearing panic. President Yuan orders the two scum handed to the authorities. Everything must follow legal procedure. No tolerance at all. Shi Luo asks what happened. She asks what I did to him. I ask how I would know. I did not do anything. Technically delicious. She snorts that I am stingy. President Yuan apologizes deeply to Miss Shi. Their side's mistake made her suffer. He offers her sincere apologies. Additionally, the company will compensate her for the grievance. They will discuss the exact amount later. Shi Luo says President Yuan is too polite. Everything can follow company rules. President Yuan thanks Miss Shi for understanding. He hopes they can cooperate again. I asked Director Zhang about President Yuan. He wonders why I suddenly asked that. Still, he says it is fine to explain. President Yuan's biggest business is Longxing Holdings. It covers many industries. According to last year's rich list, President Yuan ranked 96th. His assets are conservatively over 20 billion. When things peak, they reverse. A soaring dragon may regret going too high. A calamity should be coming for him soon. I read President Yuan's face earlier. If he passes it, he may rise higher. But one careless step, and it is a 10,000-foot abyss. Shi Luo says this little Taoist is starting again. She asks if I can read faces too. I say I am passable. I used to make a living from it. At my age, reading fortunes for people is apparently not common. Some things exist if believed, vanish if not. I only said it casually. No need to take it seriously. Fate loves irony. Shi Luo never expected her first role would bring in so much money. She says we must celebrate. I ask if she can stop showing off. Her actual pay is only a little over 10,000. The rest is danger money. If not for me, she would still be hanging off a cliff. She says it is fine as long as nothing happened. Of course, she says, mainly thanks to me. She offers to split half with me. She calls herself a generous employer. I say that is not what I meant. With that mood, she might consider marrying me instead. She says if I promise to stop being a Taoist, she might consider it. Then she gives up with a sigh. She says she will stop joking with me. She wants to go back and rest. She asks if I really do not want her money. I say her little money, to a man of grand business like me, is only drizzle. She should keep it. She decides to treat everyone to dinner tomorrow. She tells me not to forget to come. Her classmates all know she got a role, so she has to show something. I say I know and will definitely come. Someone asks what happened to Han Bingbing. Screams burst out ahead of me. A man says this is Mr. Chen's order. They must take the young miss today. Someone says they will have to beat them dead first. Otherwise they will never let them take her. The thug says if they insist, then they should not blame him. He orders them to let go. More screams rip through the street. I cannot believe they dare snatch a child in broad daylight. I tell them to stop. They call for Yang Haoran to save them. A thug yells at me. He says this has nothing to do with me. He tells me to be smart and get lost. Little Bing Bing tells Uncle to beat them. She says they are bad people. I gently tell Little Bing Bing to be good. Then Uncle shows her how to beat bad guys. The thug calls me shamelessly arrogant. Accurate? No. Entertaining? Yes. He yelps as the lesson begins. He tells me to let go, so I do. Customer service. Little Bing Bing cheers Uncle on. She wants the bad guys beaten down. She declares Uncle the best. My fan club is tiny but fierce. I ask how trash like them dares snatch a child. I tell them to hurry up and roll away. No lying there pretending to be dead. She thanks me for what happened today. She apologizes for bringing me trouble. I remind her we are neighbors. Helping is only right. Besides, Trouble already knows my address. Still, I ask what today was about. She asks Bing Bing to play in the bedroom. She says Mommy needs to talk with Uncle. Bing Bing obediently agrees. She says those men were sent by Bing Bing's biological father. I blurt out that Bing Bing has a father. Then I quickly tell her not to misunderstand. I mean, if he is her biological father, why would he use violence to steal a child? She says Bing Bing was an accident. Back then, she worked as his company secretary. That beast took advantage of her after she got drunk. Only after leaving did she realize she was pregnant. Then she gave birth to Bing Bing. She only wanted a quiet life with Bing Bing. But he eventually found out. So now he wants Bing Bing back. I ask if she fears he will mistreat Bing Bing. She calls him a beast. How could he possibly treat Bing Bing well? A year ago, he had a car accident. He lost the ability to have more children. Now he rushes to take Bing Bing back, only for the family inheritance. Once he gets what he wants, he will not care whether Bing Bing lives or dies. I say this is outrageous. I tell her not to worry. I am here. Nobody will dare bully them. She says they have power and status. She is preparing to move. I ask where she can move. She does not know where to go. Only the farther, the better, as long as that beast cannot find them. I tell her to ask if she needs help. She asks who those people are. She demands why they are barging into her yard. She warns she will call the police. The thug says whatever she sees or hears, she should pretend nothing happened. Otherwise, he will tear down her doghouse. I say this first. If they break anything, they have to pay. My courtyard has rules. They laugh with a nasty little hum. Their boss orders them to smash everything. She realizes the beast himself has come. I ask if they were all born as wild donkeys. Not a speck of manners between them. If the door breaks, they are paying. One thug points me out to his boss. He says I am the one who did it. I beat him into that shape, apparently. Art has critics. The man calls me that woman's new man. He uses a filthy word for it. Then he asks how his used woman tastes. I laugh and say she and I are only neighbors. But the way he talks makes me unhappy. He says he is unhappy too. So today he will not only take the little one, he will make me watch him humiliate her. He laughs like a sewer found a mouth. He orders them to break both my legs. He wants me to watch properly. I note that the two of them are dark energy martial artists. Yet they work like dogs for a master. I ask if they feel no shame. They curse me for insulting them and rush toward death. The yard fills with nervous little sounds. More panic squeaks out. Very dignified. I send another one rolling away. The man cannot believe it. I ask if he was not so tough. Did he not want to break my legs? I stand still for him. I invite him to try touching me. I suddenly cry out in pain. I accuse him of daring to hit me. I tell him this is far from over. He must compensate me. Without 10 or 8 million, this will not end. Someone says I am clearly faking. Nobody touched me. They ask who hit me. I ask which I saw me get hit. They call me shameless. I call it strategy. I ask if he refuses to pay and still dares curse me. I simply cannot bear this grievance. Still not paying? Then today's matter is not finished. He begs me to stop and talk properly. He says he is willing to pay. He repeats that he will pay. Music to my injured organs. I ask if he admits hitting and insulting me. He admits everything. I ask where he hit me. He says he kicked my stomach twice and punched me several times. I say that is more like it. My organs now feel twisted like knives. I may have suffered serious, irreversible injury. By rights, I should beat him until he cannot care for himself. But I am always kind-hearted, so I will not sink to his level. A little compensation, and we can call it even. Now we should discuss the exact money matter. I need him to write 2 documents. First, he beat me badly. He must voluntarily compensate me 1 million in cash. The other concerns him and Han Bingbing. He must state their relationship clearly, and note Han Bingbing's legal right to inherit his property. That should be enough. I ask if I need to teach him how to write. He thinks the pledge is nonsense. Once he leaves, he will never admit it. After writing, he asks if he can go. I make him press his fingerprint, in case he cheats. He asks again if he can leave, snorting. I tell him not to rush. Since he came all this way, we should have a proper chat. He wants no chat at all. If he were not afraid of being beaten to death, he would already be cursing. I think karma really does turn in circles. Someone arrives and demands an explanation. I say she finally arrived. Excellent timing. I admit I am not skilled with legal documents, so I ask her to check what needs improving. She says the writing has no problem. She asks if he signed it voluntarily. He hums and says he signed voluntarily. He asks who they are. She says she is from the Zhonghai police station, and this is from the Zhonghai city notary office. He snorts. Then he realizes the trap is mine. He threatens to sue them. He accuses them of abusing power for private gain. The notary addresses him formally. He advises him to speak carefully. He just asked him clearly and confirmed the signing was voluntary. If he keeps speaking rudely, the notary has the right to sue him. I tell them they can roll home and prepare now. In a few days, I will collect the debt in person. She asks what is really going on. I tell her to let him explain. The man later rages that they are all useless. He wants that bastard dead. I assume he means me. Sweet. Shi Qingluo only wanted to invite a few close classmates, just to celebrate. But Ma Xiaoling secretly notified the entire class. Someone laughs and congratulates Qingluo. They offer congratulations. She is the first in their class to enter a crew. Someone says maybe Qingluo can use this chance to become famous overnight. They wonder why Yang Haoran still has not arrived. Maybe I forgot, they guess. As if. Someone calls me over. I say the place has a nice atmosphere. It must have cost quite a bit. Ma Xiaoling turns on Shi Qingluo. She says the acting world is full of hidden rules. She asks whether Qingluo met any. Qingluo says she truly has not seen such things. She asks where Ma Xiaoling heard that. Ma Xiaoling says she heard this drama's assistant director Shirley especially likes exploiting actresses. She asks if he really did nothing to Qingluo. Qingluo asks what Ma Xiaoling means. Ma Xiaoling claims she is only telling the truth. She says this kind of thing is not shameful. If it was done, it was done. So why be afraid to say it? She even says she would be eager for it. Qingluo says Ma Xiaoling is Ma Xiaoling, and she is herself. She is not as shameless as Ma Xiaoling. Ma Xiaoling mocks her for getting angry after a few words. She claims she must have hit Qingluo's sore spot. Ma Xiaoling says no wonder the director picked Qingluo. She claims Qingluo traded her body for it. The room sours fast. Someone spits back at Ma Xiaoling. They knew Ma Xiaoling came with bad intentions. Is she not just bitter she failed the audition? So now she spreads rumors everywhere. Classic sour grapes, served with extra vinegar. Ma Xiaoling snaps at the sour grapes claim. She tells everyone to listen carefully. She says she never cared for tiny productions like that. If she takes a movie, it must be a big one. Then she announces something to everyone. Next week, director Liu Xiqing's The Legend of War God starts filming. She claims she already reserved the second female lead. Everyone reacts to director Liu Xiqing's name. He is a leading figure among new generation directors. Actors who work with him are all top stars. They heard The Legend of War God has a 300 million investment. Even playing the second female lead would be huge. Someone snorts that saying it does not make it true. They believe her like they believe ghosts, which is not much. They ask if she has proof. Ma Xiaoling says they want proof. She says they should know. Director Liu Xiqing's trusted assistant director, Cheng Cece. She will call him over to prove it. She calls Director Cheng and says she is being bullied. She urges him to come quickly. Someone repeats, Cheng Cece, Liu Xiqing's trusted assistant director. They wonder if he is in Zhonghai. Cheng Cece is Director Liu Xiqing's disciple. If someone grabs that thigh, why worry about not getting roles? Someone tells Qing Luo not to be angry. They think Ma Xiaoling is just bragging. Cheng Cece is not even in Zhonghai, they say. And even if he were in Zhonghai, how could it be possible for him to rush over because of one call? Who does Ma Xiaoling think she is? Someone says if Cheng Cece really comes, they will all look down on him. Bold words before thunder. Ma Xiaoling cheers that Director Cheng has arrived. The crowd realizes it really is Cheng Cece. Cheng Cece actually came. Well, that escalated. Someone calls him President Cheng and claims to be his fan. They ask him for an autograph. Excited noises pop around the room. Cheng Cece greets everyone and asks for order. He asks them to return to their seats. He says he already spoke with the hotel. The banquet will be upgraded by 1 level. He will pay. Applause loves a wallet. Ma Xiaoling tells Director Cheng they do not believe her. She asks him to tell them now that she will become the second female lead. He says the role still needs an audition, but in his heart, Ma Xiaoling is the best choice for it. People say Ma Xiaoling always had the best conditions. Soon she will surely become a top star. Others say that is certain, whether looks or acting. Ma Xiaoling deserves the second female lead, they say. Someone asks why Director Cheng is in Zhonghai. Maybe it relates to The Legend of War God starting production. Director Cheng says it does. After all, the story's prototype is in Zhonghai. They ask Director Cheng to explain in detail. He says it is not a business secret. The Legend of War God is based on Battlefield Wolf General Lin Tianfeng. He came to Zhonghai this time to collect material on General Lin Tianfeng and to discuss authorization. I choke, and someone asks if I am all right. They wonder how fruit juice can make me choke. I ask who the story prototype is. They repeat Battlefield Wolf General Lin Tianfeng. I mutter that it is actually that grand kid. Director Cheng addresses me as a classmate. He asks me to watch my words. How can I disrespect a hero? Even insult him out loud? He says. Ma Xiaoling says Director Cheng is right. She calls this the ugly face of an online troll. She asks what right I have to smear a hero. She tells everyone to look clearly. I was personally invited by Qing Luo. At a glance, she says, I have no money, job, or education. But she says that is no surprise. Things gather by kind, and people group by type. She says, sure Qing Luo suits someone like me. Charming poison. Qing Luo laughs angrily and tells Ma Xiaoling not to go too far. She says being classmates with Ma Xiaoling is the true shame. I say these little kids know nothing. I am only stating facts. Even if Lin Tianfeng stood before me now, he would obediently act like my grandkid. Someone wonders how, in this world, a shameless person like me can exist. Qing Luo tells me to stop talking. She asks how I can say that. She urges me to take it back, then apologize. I ask why I should apologize. And to whom exactly? To Lin Tianfeng. Please. Ma Xiaoling tells Director Cheng not to tolerate scum like me. They must punish me severely. They want to call the police immediately. In peaceful times, some people do not cherish their lives, Cheng says. He tells Xiao Wang to call the police. Someone turns on Qing Luo. They ask how she could make a friend like this. Others tell Ma Xiaoling not to bother with me. She is going to be a big star. Hero movies are the hottest thing now. Even a second female lead can become famous overnight. They toast Ma Xiaoling's bright future. Qingluo asks how I still have the mood to smile. They already called the police. With so many witnesses, she asks how I plan to explain. I say I did nothing wrong. So what is there to explain? Besides, I know the police fairly well. They will not arrest me. They say Yang Haoran is hopeless, so they decide to let me be. Ma Xiaoling asks Director Chung, once the police arrive, to make my offense sound serious. At least make that country bumpkin stay in a little dark room for 10 days. Half a month would be even better. Director Chung says that is easy. He will just say hello to them. He reminds his darling not to forget to visit his hotel later. He promises to cultivate her well. Grease practically drips. Qingluo cannot believe I can still laugh. She suggests I drink some wine first. Then I can claim drunken loose talk. I say explaining is nonsense. Besides, I never drink. I will not break my rule. She says I can wait for the police to handle me. She is mad enough to steam. Someone wonders why this guy appears here. Captain Li greets Director Chung. She says they meet again. Director Chung recognizes Captain Li. He calls it a coincidence. He says he made the report. He points to me over there. He says I publicly slandered hero General Lin Tianfeng and refused to repent. Captain Li laughs. She realizes it really is me, Yang Haoran. She asks exactly how I slandered General Lin Tianfeng. Director Chung says I called General Lin that grand kid. Everyone can testify, apparently. Ma Xiaoling backs up Director Chung. Captain Li says if anyone else said it, it could indeed insult a hero. But when I say it, it is actually nothing. Director Chung asks what Captain Li means. Because she knows me, Yang Haoran, and she understands me. They accuse her of abusing power for personal reasons. They threaten to complain about her. They ask if this is why I dare talk nonsense. Am I not afraid my friend will be reported? I tell them to go ahead and complain. My friend will understand. Friendship with paperwork. Director Chung demands an explanation from Captain Li. Otherwise, he will contact Officer Chin for an answer. Captain Li says there is nothing to explain, because what I said is true. They say a guy like me cannot know General Lin Tianfeng. It is complete nonsense, they insist. Captain Li reminds them speech needs evidence. She thinks Director Chung should understand that better than anyone. She asks what proof they want. They say it is simple, make me call General Lin. Otherwise they will definitely complain. Qingluo asks if this is really happening. Captain Li says I caused the trouble myself, so I should solve it myself. The crowd thinks I am doomed now. They say I have dragged my friend down badly. I ask what fun there is in only calling. Would it not be better if I call Lin Tianfeng over? I will let them watch me call him grandkid to his face, and he still has to smile about it. They ask who General Lin is supposed to be, some person I can summon? They ask if General Lin is someone I can meet just because I want to. I call Lin Tianfeng and greet him as grandkid. I tell him I am at Tianqing Hotel. Within 10 minutes, I tell him to hurry over. I say I am being bullied. Poor me, clearly fragile. The room bursts into laughter. They mock me for pretending to call General Lin Tianfeng. They say sure Qingluo wasted me by not making me an actor. If I can really summon General Lin Tianfeng, Ma Xiaoling swears she will never act again. Qingluo says she believes her friend, and she means Captain Li, sensible backup. They ask if she truly thinks General Lin will come. They ask how long we expect them to wait. I say Xiaofeng Mountain is nearby. 10 minutes is enough. They agree to give me 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Lin Tianfeng hears that in tiny Zhonghai, Yang Haoran is somehow being bullied. He thinks it is lucky if I do not bully others. He orders everyone to attention. They must assemble immediately. A new mission has arrived. My phone has range. 10 minutes pass, and they pounce. They ask what else we have to say. Director Chung says Captain Li disappointed him. She says she is only stating facts. I admit Lin Tianfeng can really make an entrance. The grandkid even brings a grand formation. They stammer at General Lin Tianfeng. They ask why he is here, voices cracking nicely. Lin Tianfeng asks Grandmaster what happened. He cannot believe ordinary people bullied me. He thinks I must be joking. Fair suspicion. Someone nearly calls for their mother. They wonder what seniority this even is. A pinch hurts, so it is not a dream. I ask if all these people are his. They are ready to execute a mission. Lin says Grandmaster's order is the mission. I say I only called him to prove one thing. Calling him grandkid is not a problem, right? He says of course it is not. It is his honor, he says. See, polite grandkid. The crowd cannot believe being a grandkid is an honor. This is the famous General Lin Tianfeng, after all. Their worldview flips like a pancake. I tell Lin his job is done. He can take his people and leave. They wonder if that is really it. All that effort, just for one sentence before retreating. I ask Mr. Chung if there is any problem now. I have other matters to handle, so I will not keep playing with them. Stunned cries ripple through the room. Chung Cece silently blames that vile woman. Today she has truly ruined him. I ask if anyone still has questions. Anyone still planning to accuse me of insulting a hero? Then I turn to that Chung Cece fellow. I ask whether he owes me an explanation. He calls it a misunderstanding. He asks what explanation is needed. He says he still has business. He tries to leave as casually as he arrived. Come when he wants, leave when he wants. Does my face not need saving? He asks what I want. I say an apology is only proper. That is basic manners, right? Do I really need to teach him? He stammers that I want him to apologize. I ask if he has some objection. Fine, I tell him to leave. I will just tell that grandkid later. Not to make this garbage movie. It is disgusting, honestly. They remember it has a 300 million investment. Chung Cece finally squeezes out sorry. He apologizes to me. I ask if there are mosquitoes. Something is buzzing, but I hear no apology. He admits he was wrong and begs Mr. Yang's forgiveness. He says his vision was too shallow. I note his face still looks unwilling, but I am a generous man, so he may leave. But that woman, however, I ask what she said earlier. If I could call Lin Tianfeng here, she would stop acting forever. Chung Cece tells Mr. Yang to rest assured. He will blacklist her across the film industry. I nod. She got exactly what she asked for. Ma Xiaoling curses Chung Cece. People shout for Ma Xiaoling to stop. She screams that she is not crazy. I tell Qing Luo we should go. Someone gasps. They tell Qing Luo her boyfriend is so handsome. They ask what I actually do. Others beg her to explain. Qing Luo tells them not to talk nonsense. She says I am only an ordinary friend. They say they understand. Boyfriends and girlfriends start as ordinary friends, after all. They understand completely. Too completely. I hum at the beautiful day. Then work arrives. Today must be settled completely. Qin Wenxin orders third brother to send Yalong after Yang Haoran. If they handle it well, young Master Qin will reward them greatly. Third brother accepts the order. Qin Wenxin says anyone who offends him must die. Someone says the target is only one martial artist. Yet their boss sends everyone. Is that not a little excessive? The boss says they understand nothing. He asked third brother already. When Qin Wenxin suffered before, he had 2 dark energy martial artists with him. The target beat both alone. That target is me, surprise. So I am at least dark energy level. Against someone this dangerous, it is better to be careful. They must remember the target has to die, but they cannot hurt the mother and daughter. It is a big order worth 3.5 million. They confirm they understand. The target has appeared. They move according to plan. Bing Bing hums for her mother. She asks where we are going. Her mother says uncle is taking them out to play. She will know when we arrive. She admits Mr. Yang is very capable. But Qin Wenxin has too much power in Luochuan. She worries something may still happen. Something goes wrong ahead. The driver curses the lack of manners. Someone threw a small tree onto the road. He asks a brother to get out and help. They want to move the tree, but I stop him. He asks why I am pulling him back. Without moving the tree, how can we drive? He calls it troublesome. Then screams of murder explode outside. Bing Bing tells her mother she is scared. I curse Qin Wenqin under my breath. He actually hired mercenaries. I tell them to stay in the car. I tell them to call police. Since these are Qin Wenqin's men, they will not hurt the mother and daughter. A low sound slips out as I move. Mercenaries like these carry who knows how much innocent blood. They wonder what is happening. They cannot believe I escaped. They order everyone to pay attention. Stay alert. Search carefully. Then their responses vanish one by one. They wonder what kind of monster I am. The police arrive. Now they think things are troublesome. They ask the boss what to do. He orders a retreat before the police lock onto them. They move out. A laugh cuts through the mess. Someone curses. Excited shouts scatter in the chaos. A tense breath hangs there. I ask if Qin Wenqin sent them. The matter is basically settled. The police are almost here. I tell him the gun cannot scare me. He asks for death. He screams. Ragged breaths start shaking. More panicked breathing fills the scene. The police warn the criminals inside. They say the place is surrounded. They urge them to give up useless resistance. Surrender is their wisest choice, they say. Relying on them alone, the daylilies would go cold. I tell them not to misunderstand. Friendly side here. I already handled those people. They order me to stand still. They tell me to come out with them. They say I do not decide whether I am friendly. Someone tells them to let me over. Bing Bing cries out for Uncle Yang. I ask the officer if she is not from Donghua. She says she is only mixed race. But she is a genuine citizen of Donghua. So she is mixed race. No wonder she is so pretty. She thanks me for the compliment, but reminds me we are here to investigate a case. Dai Lizzie hopes I will cooperate. I say cooperation is easy, especially with a beautiful officer. I am civic-minded. A subordinate reports to the commander. The search is complete. They have an identification code. It is the mercenary group called Wild Wolf Squad. Their files show 10 members total. 9 are found at the scene. One of them is the captain. Wild Wolf is badly wounded. The other 8 are all dead. Dai Lizzie realizes they were all taken down. She asks if I did it, or had helpers. I ask where I would get helpers. I originally wanted to rely on them. Who knew they would arrive this slowly? Wild Wolf Squad is on the wanted list. Even special forces failed to surround them before. Yet one man wiped them out. Hello, one man. She introduces herself as Dai Lizzie. She leads the Luochuan Special Operations Team. She says she is glad to meet me. She asks me to explain the process. I say there is not much to explain. I simply broke them one by one. I only want to know one thing. Are we going to have trouble? She says there will be none. Wild Wolf Squad was a wanted target. Not only am I innocent, I will even get a nice reward. So she asks me to leave contact information. That way they can reach me anytime. I tell Dai Lizzie these men were hired by Qin Wenqin. I want to know his punishment. Since a taxi driver died. This is a textbook murder-for-hire case. If the evidence is solid, Qin Wenqin faces life imprisonment. I say we are going to collect from Qin Wenqin now. Do they want to come along? She says it is not special operations duty. But since I ask, she is happy to make the trip. 3 hours have passed. Qin Wenqin wonders why Wild Wolf has no news. So long without word. Maybe Wild Wolf ran into trouble. A transformation master is so rare. They think that bastard Yang Haoran cannot escape. Someone rushes into Mr. Qin. Police station people are heading to his office. His men cannot stop them. He snaps, asking what? The police station people? A nervous hum slips through the room. He sees me and cannot believe I came. I ask what he means. Why would I not dare come? Is he planning to deny the debt? I have it clearly in black and white. There is even an official seal. Surely he will not deny it, right? He addresses the lady officer. He asks why she came here. Dai Lizzie says they have enough evidence, linking him to a murder-for-hire case. She hopes he will cooperate with the investigation. Qin Wenxin curses Wild Wolf inside. They could not even handle this little thing. He calls them useless and claims he obeys the law. How could he do something so cruel? Dai Lizzie says denial is pointless. Wild Wolf's squad has been wiped out. The captain, Wild Wolf, is fully under their control. He has confessed everything, and he kept plenty of evidence. So denial is useless. Paperwork bites back. Qin Wenxin freezes at the total wipeout. He curses Wild Wolf as an idiot, who takes a job and leaves evidence. I say that is between him and the police. I do not care. I came for my debt. He must honor his promise. Dai Lizzie addresses me as Mr. Yang. The two pledges I hold now involve more than Qin Wenxin alone. She suggests contacting Qin Sholuan. They should negotiate a solution together. I nod, that is best. So I ask her to arrange it. She introduces herself as Dai Lizzie of Luochuan's Special Operations. She orders them to notify old Mr. Qin Sholuan immediately. He must come to Qin Group's office. There is an urgent case. It involves family inheritance and a criminal case. She addresses old Mr. Qin. His son Qin Wenxin is suspected of hiring killers. The evidence is solid. I add a little hay for flavor. Here is Qin Wenxin's earlier pledge. It involves Miss Han Bingbing's custody and medical costs. Old Mr. Qin calls him a beast fighting over inheritance. He cannot believe Qin Wenxin did this. I say his own mess is his to handle. Old Mr. Qin realizes she may be his granddaughter. I say she should be. A paternity test can confirm it. Old Mr. Qin orders one at once. If she is confirmed as his granddaughter, he will fulfill both pledges. Qin Wenxin cries out to his father. He says they cannot do this. It is unfair to him. He reminds him that he is his son. Dai Lizzie says the evidence is solid. Murder for hire is a major crime. She advises him to cooperate. Maybe he can earn leniency. He groans, finally tasting consequences. Dai Lizzie tells the mother and daughter to stay here for now. They can wait until things are settled. She thanks the officer. I ask, hey, what about me? No arrangement for the hero? Dai Lizzie asks if I am interested in special operations. She wants me as a temporary instructor. Of course, if I am interested. A long-term position is also fine. Long-term position? I have no interest in that. I fear being fixed in one place most. Doing the same things again and again. No thanks. But for a beauty's sake, temporary instructor is acceptable. Still, I declare this first. I have no experience at all. Laughter rises, light and amused. She thanks me for agreeing. What I need to do is train their combat program. Nothing else needs my attention. This foreign beauty is warmly hard to resist. I let out a small sound. Composure, please report back. I jolt. She never expected Mr. Yang's body to be so perfect. No wonder I am the man who wiped out Wild Wolf Squad alone. If she posted my photo online, many fangirls would probably lose their hearts. I hum and ask why she is up so early. Does she not sleep? She says she did not rise early. I simply got up too late. It is now 8:23 in the morning. I already missed special operations breakfast. So, she has to pay to take me outside for breakfast. She asked me to get dressed quickly. I tell her to wait a moment. I make a few sleepy noises and move. A small laugh escapes the morning air. Someone greets me with a bright hey. He introduces himself as team leader Li Qingwu. He heard about me from Dai Lizi. He says I am truly impressive. Only he did not expect me to be so young. I laugh lightly. I give a little snort. Mr. Yang does have some skill, he admits. He invites me over and orders everyone to assemble. He wants to introduce me. This is Mr. Yang Howren, their newly invited temporary instructor. I will mainly teach free fighting. He hopes everyone improves under me. Then he asks me to say a few words. I say I have nothing much to say. Fighting is actually very simple. First, practice more. Second, use it more. A real fight beats a cartload of speeches. If any of them feel unconvinced, they can step out. I nod. Invitation to pain delivered. Li Qingwu asks Wang Hai to spar with me first. He warns him not to embarrass the team. Wang Hai asks me for guidance. I announce the first lesson, how to face an opponent built like a giant bear. Wang Hai says he is only tall. He is not clumsy. I say clumsy is relative. Generally speaking, the bigger the body, the less flexible the turning, and the more energy it burns. That is a fact. Self-confidence cannot cancel physics. Sad for bears. When facing this type of opponent, you must use your flexible advantage fully. Make him unable to land any force. You may not even need to hit him. He can tire himself out. Wang Hai snorts that I am only talking theory. He asks if we can start fighting. I ask why he is in such a hurry. As the instructor, I should teach with words and action. I have already explained the idea. Now comes the action part. I call over that big bear. He may attack now. If I fight back, I lose. Very fair. Very annoying for him. Someone says Yang Howren is too arrogant. They think I am being far too bold. They expect me to embarrass myself. Someone else says not necessarily. They decide to wait and see. I give a small hum. A quick sound slips out. The air fills with awkward little noises. More little grunts follow. The bear is chasing air. Wang Hai quits, furious. He asks who fights like this. Apparently, I only know how to run. He wants me to face him head-on. Li Qingwu says Wang Hai lost, plain and simple. He cannot even touch Mr. Yang's body. So what fight is left? If Mr. Yang had fought back, 10 Wang Hais would already be finished. They wonder how a person's movement can be so fast. They call it almost demonic. I prefer efficient. He cannot even touch me. So what is there to fight? I ask if they saw my demonstration. This is the best way to handle a tall, strong enemy. Make sure he can never hit you. Then you stand undefeated. Of course, there is another method. I ask Big Brother if he still feels unconvinced. This time, I will not run. I will fight him properly. If he can make my feet move, I lose. He asks if I mean it, and I naturally do. As long as I do not run, he refuses to believe I can withstand his iron fists. If my feet move, I lose. They decide I am doomed. They think I do not know how strong Wang Hai is. They wait to watch. The temporary instructor is about to flip over, they say. Wang Hai warns me he is attacking. They say I am using my weakness against the enemy's strength. Yang Howren is too arrogant, they decide. I will definitely suffer. Dai Lizi does not think so. She believes Yang Howren must have a reason. The crowd bursts into shocked little O's. More O's follow. Very scientific analysis. They cannot believe I really did it. They wonder how strong Yang Howren's power must be. They cannot imagine this body holding such terrifying strength. Dai Lizi says, see? Yang Howren was sure all along. I am the man who soloed Wild Wolf Squad. They wonder how strong I really am. Honestly, they find me terrifying. I find breakfast more urgent. To win a fight cleanly, there are only two principles. Either cleverness breaks heavy force. So avoid the sharp edge. Strike unexpectedly. An attack where they are unprepared. Or pure strength crushes all tricks. Keep raising your own level. Transformation force beats dark force. Dark force beats bright force. When the strength gap is overwhelming, all technique becomes useless. I repeat what I said earlier. Fighting is something you can never master by talking. You only understand after real combat. So I group them 10 at a time. They can attack me together. I will let them feel how power is used. 10 people together? Instructor Yang is planning 10 against 1. They mention ants biting an elephant to death. Where does Yang Haoran get such confidence? But what they just saw was me beating Wang Hai with ease. Maybe I really can do it. They ask if we can begin. I remind them the battlefield gives no prep time. They can begin anytime. I tell them to use their strongest power. 10 against 1, all trained special obsoletes. They wonder if Yang Haoran can handle it. A string of startled yelps breaks out. A breath catches in the air. No wonder I could take on Wild Wolf Squad alone. They call this strength terrifying. I tell one man his punch is too straight. That makes it easy to predict. Another has an unstable lower stance. One push and he falls. Their teamwork is messy. They keep blocking each other. Now this temporary instructor will teach them properly. Someone thanks me for contributing to social stability. I chuckle. Compliments do improve public safety. The 1 million compensation arrives. Han Bingbing's legal inheritance status is confirmed. Monthly support is set at 15,000 yuan. Laughter rings out. Dai Lizzie calls me sweetie. She says she likes me very much. My modesty trips. She looks forward to our next meeting. She says she will miss me. I say we will have another chance to meet. If something happens, she can bother me anytime. I love helping others, especially helping beautiful women. Pure public service. Dai Lizzie wishes Mr. Yang a smooth trip. She sends a car to take us back to Zhonghai. Han Bingbing's mother thanks me for caring for them. She says Bingbing will miss me. I ask if she means they are moving. She has already found Bingbing a better school. The environment here is indeed a little chaotic. Not very suitable for Bingbing's studies. Bingbing says she will miss Uncle. Fine, I help them move. Someone calls me Little Grandmaster. Her driver's license finally came through. She asks if she should take me for a spin. I ask if she has a license now. Maybe I should get one too. She says of course, then asks if she is impressive. She says she will pick me up now. I just need to send the address. She asks if Little Grandmaster lives here. Does it not lower my status? I tell the kid she knows nothing, no matter how simple the place is. As long as Little Grandmaster is here, it shines brightly. My aura rushes to the heavens. Modestly, of course. She says that is only what I think. Never mind. She tells me to get in for a drive. I ask why her car is so tiny. It has no grand presence at all. She asks what is wrong with small. Small is flexible. Do not underestimate this little car. It cost over 300,000. She wants to go to Xiaofeng Mountain Road. People often race there. She will let me experience it. With her skills, racing, my soul checks its seatbelt. I tell her to drive slower. Nervous sounds leak out. She cries out for Little Grandmaster. She wonders how she even drove up here. That was close. I nearly died in this girl's hands. She starts admiring herself. She really climbed the mountain. She says she is amazing. The car may disagree. As the saying goes, going up is easier than going down. She is afraid she cannot drive down. I ask what happens to her car. She says she will find someone to drive it down later. Fine, we do it her way. Today, apparently, we are not going down. Some guys ask if the beauty needs a ride. They offer to take her down. She agrees and asks if they are leaving now. They ask where the car is, but say they can only take her. They tell me to go cool off somewhere else. I ask if they dare target my little girl. Their skin must be itching. She realizes these guys had bad intentions. She tells them to hurry up and leave. They say not to make it sound so ugly. They only wanted to befriend a beautiful woman. As long as their leader does not allow it, nobody will dare take us down the mountain. I call that ridiculous bragging. Who does he think he is? He laughs and introduces himself as Guiyunlei. If I do not believe him, I can try. If anyone dares take us down, they warn not to blame them for causing trouble. I sigh. I forgot to check the almanac today. And somehow I meet these three things. If I do not teach them manners, I would disappoint their ancestors. The punk calls me bold for insulting them. He thinks I am asking for death. They rush in with noisy little battle cries. More yells follow. Very loud, very doomed. He groans and asks if I know who he is. He swears he will not let me off. Lin Shui introduces Sister Hu Feier to me. She agreed to take us down the mountain. I introduce myself as Yang Haoran. Hu Feier says her car is up ahead. She tells us to follow her. She asks if I beat up Guiyunlei. I admit I did. Those three half-grown punks dared flirt with my little girl. Not hitting them would be impolite. I ask if she knows them. She says racers here mostly know them. That guy has not done much good. So yes, he deserved the beating. But beating him may bring trouble. His background is not simple. Lin Shui says Sister is so pretty, so why drive a car like this? Hu Feier says it is convenient for deliveries. She tells us to get in and go. Lin Shui thinks sitting in it is embarrassing. Hu Feier says if she will not get on, then we can leave first. Lin Shui panics and tells us to wait. The ride gets bumpy fast. The bumps keep asking questions nobody can answer. We yelp. Elegant passengers, clearly. Someone chuckles under the chaos. Lin Shui laughs and calls her Sister Feier. She thanks her deeply today. Without her, we really would not know what to do. Laughter spills out again. Hu Feier asks if I need anything else. I ask the beauty not to leave yet. I see darkness between her brows. Within 3 months, disaster will find her. Since our meeting counts as fate, I cannot ride for free. So I give her a pouch. If she meets a problem she cannot solve, she should remember to open it. She says she kindly gave us a ride. Why am I cursing her now? She calls it unlucky and leaves annoyed. Lin Shui tells her not to misunderstand. My grandmaster is actually a Taoist priest. A very powerful one, she adds. She urges her to keep the pouch. It may come in handy. I tell her to accept it. Kindness earns kindness. Hu Feier finds me unreasonable. Lin Shui says these things are hard to say. My little grandmaster is truly accurate. She still tells her to put it away. I sigh. Human hearts really are not what they used to be. Nobody listens when I tell the truth. Lin Shui calls little grandmaster. She asks if Hu Feier really has a disaster coming. I ask if my face reading is like her driving. I am only a little unfamiliar, not hopeless. She asks what will happen to that sister. I ask why she has so many questions. Thinking too much makes people age faster. Heaven's secrets cannot be leaked. She says fine, I do not have to tell. But why so fierce? Men arrive and ask if we beat their young master. I give a small nod. I say I saw no young master. Only 3 mad dogs, so I taught them a lesson. The man snaps that I dare insult them. He says I called his young master a mad dog. I remind him I did not say that. He said it himself. Helpful witness. He calls me sharp-tongued. He says I will cry soon. They order us into the car. Their boss wants to see us. I tell the girl their boss wants us. Looks like he is not bringing tea. So should we go or not? She says of course we should go. Otherwise we would be rude. The men wonder if our brains are broken. I ask why they are still standing there. Get in. Is their boss not waiting? Lin Shui calls little grandmaster. Can these little shrimps really be my opponents? Perfect, I can stretch my bones. Guiyunlei begs his father not to spare me. He wants me beaten until I cannot care for myself. His father gives a low sound. He also wants that little girl. He wants her kneeling beside him, singing surrender. Guo says he already sent Shanzi and the others. Anyone who hits his son should first ask who Guo is. Guo publicly runs Starry Night Bar. Privately, he touches gray underground business. More importantly, he is a brotherhood leader in Zhonghai. The brotherhood has power nationwide. Even wealthy families give them face. His men report that both people are back. They ask how to handle us. Guo Yunlei says forget handling for now. Beat me first. Otherwise his hatred cannot settle. Guo says not to shout violence so easily. Bring the people over first. He wants to see who I am. Someone with such nerve must be interesting. Guo Yunlei says now I cannot act arrogant. Today he will ruin me properly. I ask if there is no fruit plate or candy. Their guest service really needs training. Guo says I must not know who he is. In Zhonghai, nobody dares speak to Guo like that. I give a dismissive sound. He probably does not know who I am either. The room bursts into laughter. He asks what exactly I am. I say I am just teasing him. I am only an ordinary person. Surely he will not bully me for that, right? Lin Shui says bullying people is my specialty. Guo says I injured his son. Today I must give him an explanation. Accept beating or accept punishment. I must choose one. I say beating is definitely impossible. Look how fragile I am. They might beat me to death. So punishment seems better. It is just money, right? He can name a number. I will have someone send the money over. Lin Shui wonders when I became so agreeable. Guo Yunlei tells his father not to accept money. He wants to beat me to death. His father tells him to shut up. They use reason. He tells him to stand aside. A wise man submits to circumstances. Since I am so sensible, he will not make things hard. 1,600,000, he says. Pay up and we leave. Otherwise, he does not mind keeping us a few days. I agree at once. Only 1,600,000. Small problem. I will call someone now. He calls me straightforward. Then he tells me to summon the money. I turn to Lin Shui and ask why she is frozen. Call your second uncle to bring money. She says she fears her second uncle scolding her, so she wants me to call. I call Lin Zihua. I say this is Yang Haoran. I laugh and tell him not to be so polite. Lin Shui and I have met a little trouble. Someone has detained us at. I ask what this place is called. They say Starry Night Bar. The boss says his name is Guo. I say right. They want us to pay 1,600,000. So he should come collect us. I have found the person. The money will arrive soon. Within an hour. He should prepare something to hold the cash. Lin Zihua cannot believe Yang Haoran is detained. To him, that sounds absurd. This little grandmaster must be teasing them. He decides to go watch the show. Starry Night Bar it is. Guo asks what business my family does. He wants to hear it. Maybe he knows my elders. I say my family has no other business. Just a few mines in the countryside. He hears we have mines, so he wants to extort more while he can. Greed does love over time. A lackey reports several black cars outside. The people getting out look like officials. Guo wonders why officials are here now. Maybe the news leaked. Oops, plot twist. I give a small hum. Another little hum hangs in the room. Lin Zihua looks at Lin Shui, a little girl, who should be staying safely at home. Instead, she runs around all day. He thinks she has been disciplined too lightly. He says he should call his older brother. Lin Shui panics and begs him not to call. She promises not to run around again. Classic survival speech. Guo Yunlei tells the old man we too beat him, then chose to pay punishment. He demands the money immediately. Guo turns to Lin Zihua. He asks where the money is. 1 cent short, and he will not release us. Lin Zihua gives a calm hum. Since this is compensation, the cause and effect should be explained. Otherwise his money would be badly wronged. Guo Yunlei calls that cause and effect nonsense. He wants the money handed over obediently. Guo asks if Lin Zihua wants reason. Since his son was beaten, he now wants 2,600,000. Not 1 cent less. Inflation moves fast. Lin Shui calls it extortion. Guo Yunlei starts howling. He says it is over. He claims internal injuries. He feels like he may not make it. He groans that he is dying. Very theatrical. I wonder how this thing has no bottom line. Guo asks if we see it. His son has internal injuries. If we bargain, even 2,600,000 feels low. Lin Zihua accepts. 2,600,000. He tells them to wait a moment. His accountant is already on the way, so we can all wait and calculate the account properly. Gui Yunlei says there is nothing to calculate. Paying money is the real business. Yes, compensation. He likes that word. Lin Zihua asks them to wait a little. His accountant will arrive soon. Lin Shui quietly calls her second uncle. She wonders where this accountant came from. Why not just reveal his identity and end it? Guo Chang'e greets official Xiao with sudden warmth. He apologizes for not welcoming him properly. He hurries to offer him a seat. Then he greets official Li and official Wang. He invites both officials inside quickly. Everyone wonders what is happening today. 3 big figures have all arrived. The subordinates pay respects to official Lin. Official Lin, they repeat, suddenly nervous. Someone realizes he may be Lin Zihua, Zhonghai's top administrator. Guo Chang'e stammers out official Lin. The big boss of power is here. Wonderful timing. Lin Zihua reminds boss Gui he wanted accounts settled. Now his accountants are all here. So maybe we can settle things properly. Guo Chang'e says he truly did not know. He did not know it was this respected elder. He apologizes and drops all compensation. His son deserved that beating, apparently. He even wants to thank that young brother. He realizes he kicked an iron plate. Lin Zihua says identity does not matter. People must still speak with reason. One matter is one matter. He will investigate the son's beating, and he will investigate Guo Chang'e too. All the way to the bottom. Deep digging, official edition. He assigns this case to Tianli. No carelessness is allowed. Tianli says she understands, Chief Lin. Lin Zihua apologizes for frightening Grandmaster. Everyone wonders what identity this young man has. No wonder, no wonder. Guo Chang'e wants to kill his useless son. I tell boss Guo to settle accounts properly. As for me, I am leaving. And I remind them not to calculate too little. Lin Shui says that scared her to death. If second uncle catches her, another lecture is guaranteed. I ask why the girl is running so fast. Also, what is the process for getting a driver's license? She asks if little grandmaster needs procedures. I could ask her uncle Lin Tianfeng. He can handle special cases specially. He could even hand me a license directly. I tell her that thinking is very wrong. How could we do that? She should quickly find me a proper driving school. Easy, she says, and takes me there laughing. Now I am officially licensed for duty. I give a satisfied hum. President Yuan receives the latest news. The earliest sick employee has died. 16 more are in intensive care. Another 80 people are ill. The hospital cannot identify the cause. They suggest closing the company temporarily and handling the deceased employee's affairs. President Yuan asks how badly the company is hit. Direct losses are around 60 million, but indirect losses may reach 600 to 700 million. If it still cannot be controlled, that number will keep climbing. The capital chain is partly broken. If this continues, the company may collapse. President Yuan demands why they cannot find the cause. He wants the best doctors found. Cost is no object. His staff addresses President Yuan carefully. This is already the nation's best medical team. Someone calls for President Yuan and Brother Zhang Tian. The director is downstairs. They ask whether to meet him now. President Yuan tells them to send him up. Director Zhang remembers my reading of President Yuan's face. I said disaster was coming soon. He thinks that little fraud may save President Yuan. A thoughtful hum fills the room. Director Zhang says there is something hard to explain. President Yuan tells him to speak. He asks if he remembers Shi Qingluo's assistant. President Yuan remembers me, Yang Haoran. He asks if something happened again. Nothing happened exactly. But when Shi Qingluo finished filming, I mentioned President Yuan to Director Zhang. I said President Yuan might face a great calamity soon. If he could find me, maybe it could be solved. President Yuan asks for my contact. Director Zhang says he has it. Good. They contact me immediately. If I can really solve the company problem, President Yuan will pay me well. Director Zhang says Yang Haoran is busy now. I have no time to meet him. I also say that if he is anxious, he can come to Zhonghai personally. President Yuan calls this true master style. People like me cannot be judged normally. Finally, someone learns. They admit they were too abrupt. President Yuan tells Director Zhang to prepare for Zhonghai. He will personally invite Mr. Yang. Buying a car must never be careless, especially for a man. Choosing a good car matters, as much as choosing a good wife. Bold theory, those low-end models cannot match little grandmaster's tall, handsome, elegant, wind-in-the-trees aura. A salesperson asks if we are buying a car. She asks how much we know about Brad Ida. I know absolutely nothing, so I ask her to explain. Brad Ida is a 180-year-old brand. It was founded in Britain. It is one of the world's top luxury car brands. Powerful engines and luxury design are its features. The cheapest model costs $1.36 million. The top custom version costs $16.8 million. She asks this gentleman, which model has caught my eye? I laugh and ask to see that custom version. She reminds me it is custom-made, so of course there is no stock. But there is an 11 million premium model. She asks if I want to see it. Sure, I tell her to lead the way. Lin Shui calls Little Grandmaster in surprise. Am I really viewing the 11 million premium edition? I remind her she said men should see the best. Does she really think her Little Grandmaster is stupid? She giggles nervously. She calls me the smartest person she has ever met. The salesperson presents the Brad Ida Crown, the real premium model, but this car is not allowed for test drives. Someone sneers that people using such junk, wanting a Brad Ida, is an international joke. My phone rings, and I ask who it is. Brother Zhang Tian introduces himself. He asks for my current location. He and President Yuan are coming to find me. I say I am at the Brad Ida flagship store. I tell them to come find me here. Brother Zhang Tian agrees politely. They are coming right away. Excellent timing. The clerk points us toward toy cars across the way. He suggests we go look there instead. Lin Shui snaps back, asking what he means. She asks who drives customers away like this. She asks if he thinks we cannot afford it. She threatens to buy the whole store. Small girl, huge cannon. The clerk sneers, clearly impressed by his own mouth. He says the girl looks young and soft, but her tone is not small at all. He asks if we know what this store costs. He says we have never seen that much money. He tells us not to waste time in the store. Apparently, we should go do something useful. Then he mocks our cheap phone. Brave choice. Lin Shui is stunned by that attitude. She orders him to call the manager. He spits back that this is exactly his attitude. He asks whether we even count as customers. People like us, he says, probably cannot afford the cheapest car here. The insult keeps rolling, fully fueled. He says we are pretending to be big shots. He tells me to know my limits next time. This kind of place is not for me. Adorable. Brother Zhang Tian finally finds me. He asks if I am planning to buy a car. He asks which one I like. He offers to give it to me. The clerk's face may need rescue. The clerk recognizes Brother Zhang Tian as a director. He says he watched his interview. Now he wonders what this situation is. Brother Zhang Tian confirms who he is. He says he came to find Mr. Yang. I say I did plan to buy a car, but now, this store disappoints me too much. The clerk insists we simply cannot afford it. He says pretty words change nothing. He reminds this gentleman that I was looking at the Brad Ida Crown. It costs 11 million. He says he has never seen such a generous car gift before. He asks to have his eyes open today. Laughter erupts, loud and cheap. Brother Zhang Tian gives a cold hum. He asks who owns this store. The clerk says it is none of his business. If he really wants to buy me a car, he should just bring out the money. He says weirdos appear every year. This year just has extra stock. Young people bragging is one thing, but an older man in fake brands bragging too. That is his masterpiece. Brother Zhang Tian tells someone to check the store. He wants the owner brought to him. The clerk bursts into laughter again. He mocks him for summoning the owner. He asks who he thinks he is. Lin Shui asks who that man really is. I tell her to wait for the show. President Yuan's man says the owner is Hu Jianying. He asks whether to call him over now. President Yuan tells him to roll over here. He wants to ask how Hu Jianying manages staff. The clerk says this is killing him with laughter. They even want his boss to roll over. If the boss hears that, we will not even leave through the door. President Yuan says they do not deserve this job. He promises to wake them up. No alarm clock needed. The clerk laughs at being awakened. He tells us to keep making trouble. He has no time to accompany us. President Yuan apologizes sincerely. He says I have suffered such treatment. All of it is his responsibility. I ask what President Yuan is saying. How could this be blamed on him? To be honest, he is the biggest shareholder of this store. Hu Jianying only manages it for him. The room gives a tiny gasp. The manager senses something is wrong. Why has President Yuan come in person today? The staff stammers when the boss arrives. Hu Jianying asks where President Yuan is. The clerk pretends not to know. His act collapses with a yelp. Hu Jianying panics at seeing President Yuan in Zhonghai. He says Yuan should have called first. Then he could have picked him up. President Yuan says pickup is fake. Preparing a fraud show would be real. If he had not come to the store, how would he know how these employees are managed? Hu Jianying asks what happened. He says he does not understand. President Yuan repeats his question sharply. Better ask his employee Wang Hao. Wang Hao stammers that it is a misunderstanding. He thought we did not look like car buyers. So maybe his words were a little improper. President Yuan repeats, a fine little improper. He asks what kind of misunderstanding that is. Is this how they treat customers? And he insulted Mr. Yang. That, apparently, is unforgivable. No need to see any more. From this moment, this man and the salesperson who served me must both be fired and blacklisted from the industry. Harsh, but crisp. Hu Jianying says he understands. He will follow President Yuan's order immediately. He promises to train employees better. Nothing like this will happen again. Wang Hao begs his boss and admits fault. Then he blames Li Yuanyuan. Smooth as a broken wheel. He orders Li Yuanyuan to get over here. Li Yuanyuan greets the boss and manager. The manager says there is nothing good about it. She must apologize to us quickly. He asks how they even do their jobs. From now on, she is fired and told to leave. Hu Jianying says every mistake is his. He will manage strictly from now on. He asks President Yuan to calm down. President Yuan says he should apologize to me, not to him. A useful correction. Hu Jianying apologizes to Mr. Yang. He regrets giving me a bad experience. He offers suitable compensation. The car price can get the biggest discount. President Yuan asks why discount matters. Whichever car I like, I drive away. The bill goes on his account. Very tidy. Wang Hao wonders which god he offended. Even the boss's boss cannot offend me. His future is finished. The car did not even start. I choose this model. Big space, big presence. Practical vanity. Lin Shueb begs little grandmaster to take her too. She heard Fanyang has lots of good food. I refuse because I am going for business. She whines for me to bring her along. She promises not to cause trouble. She can even serve tea and water, then gets out. Little offended noises pop out. She calls me a stingy ghost and huffs. I read the sign. Spirit snake enters dragon cave. Yin and yang are both reversed. The plague runs wild. The drawn ground becomes a prison. I asked President Yuan which expert he offended. Someone is scheming against him this deeply. It is a setup meant to wipe him out. President Yuan asks if I can break it. I feel a heavy death aura. Looks like someone has already died. They praise Master Yang for predicting it exactly. I give them a prescription. They must treat the sick employees quickly. President Yuan thanks Master Yang. The entire office building must be disinfected. All staff uniforms must be remade. The style does not matter. But every outfit needs a dragon mark. The faster, the better. President Yuan orders it written down. He calls the best clothing factory and disinfectors. A plan must be ready today. I tell them to buy the listed items. Then send everything to the office rooftop. I need to cleanse filth and drive out evil. They promise everything will arrive within 40 minutes. The rest is mine to handle. Finally, the fun part.